So you decide you want to lose some fat for the summer, and you start Googling the smartest ways to lose fat because it's never really worked for you before, and you must be missing something, right? Is it your pre and post-workout meal? Is it fat burner supplements? Is it high-intensity interval training? Seriously, stop it. You're wasting time, money, energy, and brain cells trying to figure out tactics and gimmicks. You could be spending that energy learning the fundamental principles of how fat loss actually works. And look, I was guilty of this too when I first got into this stuff. You've heard of the 80-20 principle, right? The 80-20 rule states that 80% of the results you get come from 20% of the things you focus your effort and energy on. But fewer people have heard of the 50-1 principle, which happens when you apply the 80-20 rule to itself 2 times over. Now we can see that 50% of the results you get come from just the 1% of things that you focus your effort on. And the same thing is true when it comes to getting in shape. Of all the people in the world who decide they want to lose fat, it doesn't matter if you want to get shredded, under 10% body fat lean, or you just want to get kind of thick fit, or you want to be healthy, you all have to play by the same rules. It doesn't matter if you do keto, it doesn't matter if you do fasting or carnivore. Those fundamental rules boil down to 5 principles that make up this 1% of activities that you do. So here are the 5 golden rules of fat loss that you need to play by if you want to see the results you're after. You will never lose as much fat as you want if you don't lose body weight. It's crazy to me that I still have to say this, but I get messages from guys literally every single day that are something along the lines of, hey, I'm 5'8", I'm 230 pounds. I don't really want to lose any weight. I just want to lose fat and keep all the muscle I have. My guy, I don't know where you've been consuming this information that makes you think you'll end up shredded and lean at 230 pounds, 5'8", but it is not gonna happen, my friend. You have a ton of body fat to lose, and you need to give your body a meaningful reason to give up that fat. And energy restriction, or losing weight, is your primary weapon. But that does not mean you need to do some 8-day diarrhea detox or some 1,500 calorie per day diet. You just need to convince your body to start tapping into its fat stores each and every week for an extended period of time. And if you follow rule number 4, you'll have no issues with muscle loss. Number 2, respect your hunger. There are 1,000 ways to win at fat loss and only one way to lose, and that is overeating. Hunger is at the top of the list for things that will cause you to overeat while you're dieting for fat loss. And just quick and dirty, here's how you can manage it. Eat a high protein diet, meaning you eat a protein dense food every time you sit down to eat. Make sure there are plenty of high fiber foods on your plate as well. Fruits and vegetables are great for this. Make sure you drink a bagao or a big ass glass of water every time you sit down to eat. Make sure your loss rates are in check so you're not trying to lose something fucking insane like 8 pounds a month or something like that. And stay away from boredom. If you can, just make sure you're staying occupied throughout the day so you don't get bored and try and get snacky because you're not really hungry. You're just looking for something to do and your mouth gets kind of lonely, right? If you want more of a deep dive, I have an entire video breaking down all my hunger management strategies. But another point that's really beneficial for losing fat and keeping hunger at bay is just moving more. I find that I do way better on burning a few extra calories and staying more active and keeping my overall food intake a little bit higher than just driving my calories way down into the dirt and being a little bit less active. And I find with the guys that I work with too, they find that a little bit easier to stick to. Instead of eating 1,500 calories and not really worrying about activity, you could instead be eating 2,000 or 2,300 calories and doing a few extra steps each day or doing an extra weight training session each week. So we're looking for a higher turnover rate. I'm sure there's some crazy science going on here with the flux values of your energy and all this stuff, but just from personal experience, it's been a really huge benefit for me just to move a little bit more. 3, do it once and then repeat. Most people think that when they enter a calorie deficit, they start losing fat right away in week 1, and they're right. The issue is that 1 pound of fat loss just isn't really a significant amount of fat to lose in order for it to have a big visual impact that you can see and feel and how your clothes fit. But that does not change this important rule that your goal this week is just to lose 1 pound of fat. You figure out exactly what steps you need to take in order to make that fat loss happen this week, and then you just repeat it next week and the week after that. And 20 weeks down the road, you will be absolutely mind blown by the results that you see. It doesn't have to be exactly 1 pound of body weight. Just figure out the rate you want to lose at, make it happen this week, and then keep on going with it. I personally love keeping track of my body weight and my calorie intake and my step goal all in a nice tidy spreadsheet so that I can make sure that I am in fact moving in the right direction. I find that super motivating, and it's an added level of accountability to actually punch everything into each cell and make sure that I'm moving in the right direction. I have a free weight loss calculator that'll help you track all your stuff. You can grab that using the link in the description box. But that's kind of the idea. You just get 7 days in a row where you're on track, doing all the things you need to be doing, and make that distinct little block of progress, and then copy paste to next week, do the same thing, same foods if you want, same activity, and just keep on cooking. Rule 4. If you had the exact same amount of body fat that you do right now, even if you're not happy with how much body fat you have, if you had the exact same amount and you just had 10% more muscle, it would be staggering what a positive impact that would have on your physique and how strong you are. So if you know how important muscle is, then why not do absolutely everything you can to preserve it while you're trying to diet down for fat loss? During my last diet, where I got pretty lean, right around 10% body fat or so, I could have lost a lot more fat if I wanted to. However, it would have come at the expense of me giving up more of my hard-earned muscle along the way, which just isn't worth it for me. I could have lost weight way faster and I could have pushed way harder, but at the end of the day, your goal is not just to lose as much weight as you can, right? It's to get lean, which means keeping as much muscle as you can while you're losing the weight. And that happens best when you send a clear signal to your body to build more muscle as you're in that energy deficit. So when it starts looking for energy, it prefers to tap into those fat cells and starts shrinking them and pulls energy out of your fat cells while retaining as much muscle as you can, and maybe even building some along the way. Eating a high protein diet, managing your stress, sleeping well, and training for muscle growth in the gym are all really great ideas here. And honestly, I think this is the biggest thing a lot of guys are missing. When I just browse through Reddit and I look through guys asking for help about their weight loss goals and everything, the number one thing I see is just people avoiding, for some reason, combining training for muscle growth with dieting for fat loss. It's the guy who's just all in on doing keto, eating 1,200 calories a day, and spending an hour a day on the stair climber, or it's the dude who's just trying to get as jacked as possible and eating as much as he can. If only these two guys would just talk to each other and learn a little bit from either side, they'd go a lot further. Rule 5, don't crash land. Do you know how painful and annoying and frustrating it is to regain weight after you've lost it and just be on this perpetual weight loss Ferris wheel where you're on a diet, everything's going great, you're hungry, but you're losing weight and you push through it, you do all this hard work, and then 6 months later, a year later, you gain the weight back and maybe even more weight on top of that. All that hard work, all that effort, all that fucking time down the drain. Trust me, your boy knows how painful this is because I did that to myself at least twice now. And if I had planned ahead when I was dieting those previous times, I don't think that would have happened. But instead of me having a nice, soft, gentle touchdown landing at the Hong Kong airport, I was coming crashing in at 500 kilometers an hour in a fucking death spiral nosedive, and I exploded when I hit the tarmac and all the passengers died and nobody got to see their families again. But what I'm saying is you need to have a plan for the end of this fat loss thing. What does success look like to you? How much do you want to weigh? How much, what do you want to look like? Where are we going with this thing? Figure out where the end goal is so you're not just dieting randomly until you have no idea when it's going to be over. Set a date, set a goal weight, set just some kind of marker so you know when you're going to be done, and then make a plan for what happens next. Once you arrive there at your goal weight, once you hit that 12-week, that 16-week, that 20-week mark, whatever it's going to be, decide what happens next. Are you going to eat at your maintenance calories and just hang on at that new weight for an extended period of time and take a little break from dieting and maybe reassess, see if you want to lose more fat? Are you going to gain weight from there and do a muscle building diet? It's really up to you, but the important thing is that you decide, not just with this diet thing, but let's get philosophical for a second here. Decide in life. If you don't make a plan for what you're doing, everything else in your life has a plan for you already, and I bet you anything, it's not the plan that you want. I think about this shit all the time. When I am driving home, I park the car in the driveway. I'm in this transitionary period. My girlfriend's inside, my dog's there. I turn off the car and I'm about to go in and I go, you know what? This is a moment here where I can just think about who I want to be when I go in there. As a partner, as a man, as a person, as a dog owner. Who do I want to be when I go in the house? Am I the guy who's just going to come in mindlessly and throw my shit everywhere and be angry and be frustrated and not be, patient and present with my partner? Or do I want to be someone else when I go in there? And I think just making the decision about who you want to be is a really important thing for your fitness goals. But let's bring it back here. Just make a decision for what you want to do when you hit your goal weight. Enough of the philosophy shit for now. All you need to do is lose a significant amount of body weight. You need to do this while respecting your hunger and not getting crazy ravenous along the way. You need to set up a clear and actionable set of tasks that you can do for a number of weeks in a row that constitute a win that help you move in the right direction. You need to continue sending a clear signal to your body to grow new muscle, or at least preserve as much of it as you can while you're dieting for fat loss. And you need to have a plan for when the diet is going to end, whether that's a number of weeks or a goal weight. And you need to decide what happens when you get to the end of the diet. Are you going to maintain, or what does that actually look like for you? Follow these 5 golden rules and you will succeed at losing fat, no matter what kind of diet setup you want to do, no matter what kind of training you enjoy doing. Focus on the big picture fundamentals when it comes to losing fat, not all the little tiny details like your meal timing, your supplementation, hydration, and vitamins and all this stuff. Just focus on the big rocks, start making progress in the right direction, and go from there. In case you're new here, my name is Matteo Marra. What's up? As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.